Hey, what's going on? Coming at you from Chicago, Illinois. And this article that I found, it's a little mind-boggling. It's just it's hard to really, it's difficult to comprehend the level of shenanigans that takes place in this life and in this existence. It almost it seems unreal, but it is real. It is what takes place and what we deal with. Even if we deal with it indirectly, it's taking place in our existence, and I believe that it's important to learn to see things for what they are. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead, start this video. I'm going to read about this article that I found on the NewYorkPost.com. It's titled, Feds Charge Nearly 200 Doctors, Nurses, and Others in 2.75 B as in billion health care scam. And this article was published in June of this year, 2024. And the article, it begins by saying, the Justice Department has criminally charged 193 people, including 76 doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals, with participating in healthcare fraud schemes worth $2.75 billion, the agency said Thursday. Again, it's unbelievable, it's unreal, but it's real. It's the reality of other people's reality of thinking what they can think in their diluted minds, what they can get away with, and still manage to compose themselves, still manage to have a sense of consciousness. It's it's remarkable. There was one defendant accused of billing the federal Medicaid program for treatment that was either inadequate or non-existent, Attorney General Merrick Garland said. The bust also targeted schemes involving telemedicine, charging 36 defendants accused of collectively submitting over $1.1 billion in false claims to the Medicare program. The Justice Department will bring to justice criminals who defraud Americans, steal from taxpayer-funded programs, and put people in danger for the sake of profits. Garland, the Attorney General, he made this statement in a press conference. And, he's definitely talking a good game. But with that being said, with what he said, how do you begin to tackle the injustices, again, the corruptions, the schemes, the scams that take place involving the American public? How do you begin to tackle it? How? It's just so interwoven in our life and in society, and it's just the amount of greed. It's becoming. It has become such a monster that you cannot even be. It's hard to tackle it. It's just too much of a monster. But at least in this particular situation, at least the Justice Department is doing something. The government seized more than 231 million in cash, luxury vehicles, gold, and other assets in the law enforcement action that spanned 32 federal districts. Think about that. It wasn't just half a dozen, it wasn't just 22, but 32 federal districts that this scam involving my taxpayer money, your taxpayer money, Medicaid and Medicare programs were all involved in. It's just remarkable. I'm going to read a little bit from this book, and then I'll conclude with my concluding thoughts. So I'm going to read a little bit from this book, written by Kevin Trudeau, Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. This guy is probably not the best source to read from. He's been prosecuted. He's spent time in jail, spent time in prison. He's a character, but I do believe he does make some valid points in this older book that he wrote. So I'm just going to read a little bit from his book. It says, "The corruption runs deeper than you could ever imagine. All of these big wig fat cats are making millions of dollars as long as drugs are being sold and sold and sold. And people remain sick and sick and sicker. You have to understand the power of greed and the power of the love of money. You have to understand how motivated people are for power, influence, and money. This driving force is behind the fraud and corruption in healthcare. You have to understand the money motive behind corporations, specifically publicly traded corporations. You have to know that all publicly traded corporations, all officers and directors of those corporations have only one objective, and that is to increase shareholder value, to increase profits, to increase sales, to get more people to use their products. You have to know that the legal responsibility of corporations is to increase profits above everything else. It's almost this whole subject matter it's almost upsetting, but again, as I stated at the beginning of this video, it's not all that upsetting because it's just a reality of what takes place in this life and in this existence. And now that I've shared the article, I shared a little bit of what this author wrote in his older book. What do I take away from all this information? It's just it's remarkable. It's unbelievable that again, you had 76 doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals. These, especially the doctors and the nurses, to think that they had the foresight and the discipline to get themselves through medical school. They had the discipline to gain the skills that they gained, and the rigorous onboarding and the on-the-job training and the extensive hours that they put into their jobs and their careers. To think that they had all that foresight, all that intelligence to accomplish the goals that they've accomplished, and yet they didn't have the foresight, they didn't have the intelligence to realize that their games and their shenanigans of stealing from these programs and taxpayer money, that it wasn't going to catch up to them. It's just simply dumbfounding, and now that I've discussed that our taxpayer money is being squandered, not only in this situation, but who knows what other ways our tax pay money is being squandered by these unscrupulous government officials that are supposed to be utilizing it in more proper ways. I think that we definitely, as difficult as it may be, we really do need to try to discipline ourselves to try to put some money away, put it to the side, because it's our hard-earned money. It's being squandered, and we can't control what the government, what these programs do with our taxpayer money, but we can at least try to discipline what we do with our own money. So that was today's video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.